Hello and welcome to Angry Andy Reviews, and this is my review for Ahsoka Part 3.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy. Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews. Angry Andy Reviews.
Don't make me destroy you.
Okay, so Ahsoka Part 3, a 29-minute episode. No issues with that, so long as the writing and the pacing is good, but we'll see. So the episode starts off with Sabine Wren re-engaging in her lightsaber training, her force training with Hayang. Still can't pronounce that name at all. And yeah, she struggled with her abilities, she's not quite sure of herself, and of course, Ahsoka is there to reassure her and show her the ways of doing things. There's an interesting little sort of harken back to the original Star Wars film. Ahsoka gives Sabine Wren a helmet with a blast shield on that so she can't see, and she quite simply says, I can't see, how am I supposed to fight? It's a neat little callback, doesn't really offer much, doesn't really take anything away, it's just there, a bit of fan service. We move on to Hera Syndulla having a meeting with a group of senators, including Mon Mothma, who again is here in full force. She's a regular reoccurring character across all the different shows at the moment. And it's just nice to see her, I guess. And basically, Syndulla is saying, well, look, we need to do something because Thrawn's coming back. There's a bit of back and forth. Nobody's quite sure if they believe her at all, which is really strange. And I really, really don't like this fucking scene. I really don't like it. I think it's ridiculous. So, Hera Syndulla lays down the entirety of what's been going on. The fact that there are lightsaber-wielding maniacs. The fact that there is an Imperial, ex-Imperial bloody supporter taking hyperdrives, using them for some nefarious reasons. But that is not enough to convince these group of bureaucrats to take action. Fine, believable in a way. It would be believable if there was no supporting evidence. But motherfucker, we've got a hologram showing two lightsaber-wielding maniacs, mercenaries, attacking a Republic cruiser, killing everybody on board and freeing a known Imperial sympathizer who disappears. Not only that, but following that event, they go to Corellia due to a tip-off and find rampant evidence of an Imperial conspiracy to steal hyperdrives. And lo and behold, another lightsaber-wielding maniac turns up with mercenaries and killer droids. But that's not enough. The evidence is there that something is going on, some form of Imperial conspiracy is going on. And when they locate a location where Hera basically says, look, they're going here, we need to send everything we've got. No, we're not going to do that because we don't think it's real. Are you having a laugh? Send the entire fucking fleet and be done with it. Be done with it. But no, they can't, because they've already written themselves into a bloody a bookend. They've got nowhere else to go if they were to send the fleet. It's absolutely ludicrous. It's terrible, terrible writing, really, because they're obviously going to have to send the fleet at some point. Something will happen, the fleet will have to go, and the fleet will get fucking decimated. They're trying to portray the Republic in the light of pure hubris. Well, it goes beyond hubris, really. It's more blatant incompetence. Which begs the question, how do they even last long enough to form the New Republic before the First Order destroys them? Do they become that inept throughout that? Do you just ignore everything? Is that how we get to the First Order taking power? The Republic just fucking ignores every single warning sign going for them. Ugh. Rubbish. Where's Han Solo? Where's Princess Leia at this point? Why are they not going speaking to influential people that know the Empire inside and out? They've dealt with them en masse at every major fucking battle throughout the Galactic Civil War. Get their opinions. Does it sound familiar? Is this something we've come across before? Yes, maybe. Right, we need to do something. Come on. Come on. Trust in what's already been established. But anyway, major gripe out of the way. I didn't believe anything these people were saying, and even though Mon Mothma supports the idea, it's these other senators that we don't know who they are, sticking their oars in, bureaucrats. Maybe they are Imperial sympathizers. Maybe there is a larger conspiracy at work here, but I don't think this is as deep as Andor was in terms of conspiracies and character betrayals and things like that. I think it is just pure and utter ineptitude where they will be found out. So Hera Syndulla basically tells Ahsoka they're still on the way to this planet. You're on your own, guys. Good luck at Cetos. Yeah. And that's it. So Ahsoka and Ren arrive at Cetos. They're immediately attacked. Bizarrely enough, there's just 6 ships waiting for them as soon as they drop out of lightspeed, and they drop out early as well. So they've already pre-planned where they're going to set their attack. Believable, I suppose, maybe. Baylan Skoll's a former Jedi. He would know the protocols for landing in early in a system. And whilst at Cetos, they are attacked by Shin Hati and her group of other expendable pilots, along with Marok as well, this mysterious Marok. He's wearing his very sort of rusted uniform and armor. Yeah, it's quite interesting looking character. But yes, the fighters engage, and it's a bit clunky. It's harkening back again to the original Star Wars film with the TIE fighters attacking the Millennium Falcon. But it feels clunky. It feels as clunky as that did, and they were using models back then. It's a little bit inconsistent at some points what they're doing, and of course they do what they can. They take out, conveniently enough, all the fighters that are not named characters, and eventually they come around the moon. They're still being chased, and they see the Eye of Sion. So this big hyperdrive ship that we all knew was a hyperdrive ship, but nobody else believed because they were taking hyperdrives, but nobody wanted to know anything about it. And there it is. It's a big ring. Everyone's shocked. They start firing cannons, and it does nothing to the ship. Ahsoka magically gets outside the ship and uses her lightsabers to deflect a lot of blaster fire from the fighters. The fighters are coming in. The fighters are not aiming at the ship; they're aiming directly at Ahsoka. Okay, and it again, it's a bit clunky. It feels a bit clunky. I get what they're trying to do. I really do. They're trying to harken it back to the cartoon series Rebels with some of the stuff that happened in there and the Clone Wars, but it doesn't look right. It looks very silly, which is something to be said when I'm talking about Star Wars. I think it looks silly. I think it looks daft. But yes, they managed to escape. Ahsoka destroys a fighter by jumping through space, slicing it in half, and then getting back into the ship. They land on Cetos, but not before managing to flee through all these space whales, these Purgil that were highlighted in Rebels. And obviously they do realise that, oh my word, there's a hyper jump gate, there's a hyper jump lane. The Purgil use these lanes to get across galaxies. Something's going on here. We know what's going on. And Baylan Skoll finally, at the end of the episode, orders his men to go out into the jungle of Cetos to find the ship, because Ahsoka and Ren have landed on the planet. And that's where it is. That's where it ends. It's very quick. It's a very quick episode. But at the same time, character development-wise, other than the start, not really much happens. And I don't know what I'm expecting, but it was a bit disappointing. And I think it may be disappointing because it felt disjointed. It felt a bit, like I've said, clunky right the way through. The dialogue is it's paper thin. There's no emotional weight. There's no emotional impact. I'm not getting any flavour from the characters. It sounds like they're speaking fucking lines. To be quite honest, the only character that I'm really buying into at the minute is Hera Syndulla, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I'm buying her. I'm liking the little flex in her looks. Obviously, she's wearing a lot of prosthetics. She's wearing a lot of green makeup and whatever. So the eye movements, the looks that she was giving the senators when they were making really stupid decisions, it's almost as if she can, see through time and space herself, going, well, this is absolutely fucking stupid. And it is. But she's the only character that I'm really feeling I'm getting any sort of sense of realness from. I can genuinely feel what she is thinking, what she's anticipating. All these other characters, Ahsoka included, Sabine Wren, they're paper thin at the moment. And I'm struggling. I enjoyed the first 2 episodes. They felt quick. They felt, I thought there was a lot going on. They were moving forward. This one, it's a shorter episode. A lot happens, and yet not much happens. It does feel like it's been cut in half to add another episode. I'm really baffled. I'm really confused and a little bit worried going forward now. But that's just what it is. I think it's just this one episode that just didn't land with me. For whatever reason, it just didn't land with me. It felt clunky. The space battle, yeah, it's a space battle. There's a lot going on, but too staged, too forced. They spend an inordinate amount of time. Ahsoka flies the ship to the Eye of Siren to get a scan of it for Hyang, and it goes on too long. The turbo lasers are firing the ship. There's no threat. She's moving in and out of these turbo laser blasts without any concern, no worries at all. Everything's under control, no problem, until they do get hit right at the very last fucking minute. You remember the turbo lasers when they were attacking the Death Star? How many pilots, rebel pilots, were taken out by the turbo lasers? How the threat felt when they go into the trench and the turbo lasers are firing. The intensity of that, there is none of that here. There's no intensity here for them charging towards an enormous hyperdrive ring with multiple turbo lasers, all targeting one specific fucking object, and yet nothing. Oh, they hit once, causing damage that's immediately repaired, and so they can get back to the planet. Shin Hati comes up to Ahsoka's ship while they're damaged, while there's no power, and they just they just aim at Ahsoka. Shoot the ship! Blow the fucking ship up! Ugh. Rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. But there you go. A disappointing episode for me. Yeah. Not really much to take home from that. Very forgettable. Very forgettable. We do see Jason Syndulla, Hera Syndulla's son, and he says something really unfortunate. He wants to become a Jedi. Well, again, we're raised questions. Well, okay, if he becomes a Jedi, doesn't Kylo Ren kind of destroy the New Order? So does he get killed in 30 years? I don't know. Who knows? There's a lot of questions being asked from these shows, and all they do is just raise even more questions about what's going on, what's going to happen in the future. And I think that's the problem with the sequel trilogy in general. They box themselves into a number of positions that for love nor money, they are not going to be able to write themselves out of, no matter what they do. Unless they send people to the other side of the universe or this other galaxy, they're not going to be able to fucking write themselves out. But that's an argument for another day. That's for somebody to do a deep dive, not me. But there you go. I'm going to end this review there. Just a disappointing episode for me. We'll see what happens next week. Yeah. Bye-bye.